Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we're gonna have to go save the John Deere because it broke down in the back of the woods. I stopped to listen to music, and when I tried to restart it, it wouldn't restart. It wouldn't even click. What was that? I don't know. Anyway, whenever I tried to restart it, it wouldn't even click. I'm gonna have to tow it back to my workplace and see what's going on. Y'all hear that? Anyway, we're gonna go down there with a wheel horse and tow it back up here. And I forgot my hearing protectors. Well, maybe I won't need them because the muffler's on here now. I'm sure glad they invented hearing protectors because this is unbearably loud. That transmission is just horrible. Alright, so here's the John Deere. I'm gonna see if I can get it started. I'll let you know if I got it started. Alright, so I was not able to get it started. So we're gonna have to tow it. Good thing the wheel horse doesn't have a seat sensor on it. Alright, so I made it back to the house. I'm gonna go get my tools and then we'll start working on the John Deere. Here are the tools. Here's the John Deere. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is disconnect the battery terminal, the positive side of the battery, because we could just disconnect this part. That would save us from having to disconnect the terminal. Yeah, I'll just do that instead. Okay, so I may have just found another problem. I don't think the fuse is supposed to break in half when you're pulling it out. And I don't think it's supposed to melt. Why on earth would it melt? So we're definitely going to have to replace this now, regardless if it's good or not, because other half of the fuse has melted inside the socket, and there's no way I can pull it out. So it's time for a new one of these. I wonder how hard is this to get off of here? Oh, it's connected to that big connector. Huh, okay. So I might have to just order one of my own fuse boxes. What kind of fuse is this? 20 amps? There's a number 20 on there. I'm assuming that means 20 amps. So we'll have to get another box like this or something that we can connect the fuse to and rehook these wires. So we're going to have to order some parts for the John Deere. Alright, so I've been on the internet. I've been looking around for something that can replace this right here. And this whole wire assembly, all the way before this connector, is called the front wiring harness. I'll put the part number up here somewhere so you guys can know what I'm looking at. John Deere wants to charge $115 for the part. I just don't know if I want to do that. This cat wants some attention. I don't know if I want to charge $115 for a part that I don't really need. I mean, everything else works perfectly fine on here. It's just this part right here. I'm thinking I could probably just get another fuse block and wire it up to this wire and fix it for much cheaper than $115. Plus, can you imagine the pain it would be to unhook all these wires and zip ties and everything? I mean, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to figure out something. So I'm going to go back in and figure out what kind of gauge wire this is. This looks to be about a 16 or 18 gauge. I'm going to go get my wire cutter. It has a measuring thing on there. It measures the gauge of the wire. And then I'm going to determine what kind of block I'll need and what kind of fuses I'll need and all that. And then I'll come back to you and tell you what we're going to do. Alright, so in order for me to determine the gauge of these wires, I'm going to have to cut it and then strip it so I can measure it in my AWG wire stripper or gauge thing. It has these holes right here so I can determine the gauge of the wires. Since we're going to have to cut this thing anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Okay, that's cut. There's no way the John Deere is going to run now. Not without getting parts. Alright, so based on this tool right here, I have determined that these wires are 14 gauge. I was pretty close when I said 16 or 18. So these are 14 gauge wires. So now I need to find the fuse block that will connect to 14 gauge wires. And while we're at it, we're going to order some spark plugs and we're going to order parts for the wheel horse. Alright, so I'm back now I guess it's about 30 minutes later. I've just been online looking for parts. We have a ton of things to order for these mowers. So I've determined what we're going to need. We're going to need a fuse connector or a fuse block so we can connect it to these 14 gauge wires. I'm going to get new spark plugs for the John Deere, a new spark plug for the wheel horse. We're also going to get new wires for it. Going to get connectors so we can connect the wires. Get a new condenser, points, get new gaskets for the valve cover, and I think that's about it. I'm not sure when all the parts are going to get here. I think the earliest is March 17th. It is currently March 14th, so it shouldn't be too long. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. If you're stopping by for the first time and you wish to follow the channel, please subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss a video about these two mowers. Thanks for watching.